All right, you guys. Well, welcome to SFR Recap 2020 SFR at home. I know that we're probably all still going through the trainings and the expo stuff and the breakouts. I still have a ton to watch. I feel like I'm getting there, and then I'm like, oh, there's like 80,000 more left. So, I mean, this isn't anything like what we're doing tonight. It's not anything like, I don't know, serious, I guess. It's just kind of what I really want to know is from what you have been able to watch, or for those of you who were maybe just doing the streaming content, out of the three general sessions last week, what were your biggest aha moments? What were your takeaways? I mean, obviously, we've got a ton of awesome new products coming. We got some really awesome info from Dan Orchard about growth. I mean, it's funny, when I was watching, Matt was sitting in the living room with me, and he kept saying, all of the graphs look like the same graph. Like Dan Orchard was saying, everything looked like a hockey stick. And Matt's like, I think they're just copying the graphs. They're just copying them from one to the next to the next. And then there was one that was different. So we knew that they weren't doing that. But I mean, crazy, crazy hyper growth over the last 4 months, which nobody was expecting. So, I don't know. I'm just going to say, go ahead. If there is something that kind of stuck with you, or something that you just kind of set off a light bulb or really lit a fire under you, whether it was from a breakout or expo or a general session, just we're going to open the floor. We don't have anything like, I don't have an agenda. I don't have a plan. I don't think Josh has a plan. So we kind of just want to hear from you guys, and we can all just kind of bounce things off of each other. But I want to know what you guys took away from SFR this year.
I can go.
Yay.
Okay, so I did it on my phone because I was going to show you, because I know some people have commented on the background. So bear with me while I take you on a journey. Hold on. Okay, so I've been working really hard on my office because I like doing my Facebook Lives. And I used to have stuff like all over my tables, and it used to just drive me nuts. So now I watched Heather Gorsuch's video for virtual parties, and I started a Google form. So I'm trying that out in a party that I have next week. So fingers crossed it goes well. So this is what my background looks like. How do I turn it? Oh, I found it. Okay. So the top two portions are what I use for my parties. Mind you, I've been a consultant for 4 years. I have collected stuff over party host rewards, flash sales, and things like that. So I'm going to continue getting the warmer of the month, and then I'm always going to put it in the middle here, just that way I just have it. And then I have like every product, or every category of product. So I have like the goes and like the diffusers, and then I have this cute little thing that says join my team, because you got to get new teamies, and then just like all the bars in every category. So then as I go through it, like as I go through my party, I don't have to like hold it up. I can just be like, this is what's happening, and things like that. So that's what I took away from it.
I'm so jealous. Like, I mean, I got my cubes back here, but they're not nearly as nice as yours. I actually think I'm going to get rid of my my top row of bins and do another row of display, because I need more stuff to display too. I love it.
Thank you. It was a lot of work.
I'm sure it was, but now that it's done, I think it's going to be huge for your party.
Agreed.
What was it that you watched?
Oh, I'm running into stuff. Heather Gorsuch's Facebook virtual parties. She's really great. And she does like this booking blitz where like in her Google form, she talks about like she'll put a question in there that says, do you want to help your host earn an extra half off item? And then at the beginning of the party, she does something with numbers. So when you watch it, she does have it on YouTube as well. If you didn't get the breakout sessions, just that way you can still watch it. but that's a really good one to watch. And then she like calls numbers and things like that right at the beginning of the party to help you get future parties as well. So if you don't have the breakouts, definitely look her YouTube channel up and it's on there.
I have to finish. I started watching hers and then I got distracted or did something and I didn't even get past like the first 5 minutes. But I always, every time I see her, she's got those numbers behind her and I'm always like, what are the numbers for? So
and they're not in order either. So
what's that?
And they're not in order. So
yeah, I noticed that. It was very, when I just see her videos, I'm like, what's happening back there? So now we'll know.
Yeah. Now you'll know.
Awesome. All right.
So,
Laura
Jamie,
oh, go ahead, Josh.
No. I was just going to hop in and say, Jamie, I love that not only did you find something that you love, but you've already put it into play. I can't even, my office like looks like a bomb went off in here. So.
I mean, you can't see the rest of it. This part looks good. The rest does not.
I've had something similar that I've been trying to work on for like months, but it's just hasn't got there like completely yet. So good job.
I'm earning that trip to Disney, so we're working. So
love it. All right, Laura, you want to hop on and share with us what you took away this year?
I will. I'll be honest, I haven't done a lot of the expos or those kind of videos. I did mostly the general sessions. Just because I've been like crazy, super busy the last 2 weeks. My favorite part of SFR was DeWitt Jones. Like, for some reason, that man just totally resonated with me. I think I zoned out the whole entire time. And nothing else happened around me. Like, if it did, I didn't even notice. But my favorite thing that he said was that he's not afraid to make mistakes. I'm just looking for the next right answer. And I guess for me personally, that hit home, because it's always, oh my gosh, this happened to me. Oh my gosh, this happened to me. And so it brings me into the negative. But the way this man spoke was, it's not, don't look at the negative that's going on in the world. Look at what's right in the world. And I really need to implement that in my life, personally and in my business too, because I'm getting down because my sales are not as great as I would want them to be and nowhere near close to my goals. But I think if I start changing the way I look at things and perceive things, I know I'll do better. So that was my big takeaway from it. I mean, not only the keynotes and everything that meant a lot and had me bawling like a big baby, but that really resonated with me. So that was a big thing for me.
That is so awesome, Laura. I'm glad you shared that, because actually DeWitt, our first SFR that Brandon and I ever went to was in Las Vegas in 2012, and he was there. And I remember when they brought him on stage, I was like, what does this guy have to do with Sensi? But after we heard him speak, and it was a similar speech that he gave then too, but this with the theme of perspective, it just really hit home this time. So I'm glad you got something out of that, because I definitely did. And I think that's right. If you can, it takes a lot, but if you can really change your perspective of things, and I loved this theme so much, but it can do huge things for your business, yourself, and your own heart, mind, body, soul, and your business.
Exactly. And that's what I'm really hoping will happen.
Awesome.
I'll follow hers because DeWitt was huge. He was a huge inspiration for me. I actually knew about him before he spoke, because it was my dream to photograph for National Geographic when I was first at college. And so I wanted to be him. So getting to hear him speak like that was really, I sucked in everything he had to say, and I've watched it twice since then. He talks about continually finding the next right answer, and that's what it's about. It's not about being perfect. It's not about right or wrong. It's about what works for you. And we're all different. We all have different priorities, but we all have this thing that we love to do. So it's just about pulling that inspiration out of yourself and sharing it the best you can with the people that you know. And that's what I took from it as well, is sharing. I'm not selling to people. I'm sharing how this product has inspired me, how it has affected my life. And I'm just passing that on to other people. Like, hey, it's easier and faster for me to clean the kitchen since I discovered counter clean, because my kitchen doesn't get nearly as dirty as it used to. It's you don't have to prove yourself. Like, I don't have to be as on top of everything as I believe that Kim is, whereas she doesn't have to work like, she doesn't have to be like, oh my God, I wish I could design graphics like so-and-so or whatever. So it's not about proving yourself, or like, I won't be able to make money until I hit this level and I won't be able to whatever. It's about improving yourself every day, every week, every month. So what are you doing right now? What feels good? And then, what direction do you want to go to do something a little bit better, to polish off a different piece of your business and stuff like that. So that was a message that I was getting through a lot of the breakouts, as well as from DeWitt's speech.
Love it. And you know what? I'm really not on top of anything. So just so you know. Really, I'm not. You know what's funny though? You mentioned that something that the message that you were getting from a lot of the breakouts, and one thing that I heard, like one phrase that I heard in, I feel like almost every single breakout and expo that I watched this year, was fail forward.
Yes.
And it really was like, I was like, I don't know, maybe I've never heard of it before, or maybe never just was in the right mindset to hear it and really have it like mean something. Because I mean, it sucks to feel like you're failing at something, whatever it is. If you try something and it doesn't work, especially if you've seen someone else have success with it, and then if you try it and it doesn't work, I think it's really easy for us to be like, well, what am I doing wrong? Why isn't it working for me? And then shutting down because that didn't work, instead of using that to change your perspective and change your outlook on it and figure out what you can do, either to change the way you're doing whatever that is, or just scrap it and move on. Because like I said, I think it's easy when something doesn't work, our first instinct is to just like be done with it, instead of figuring out how you can take that and help you move forward with it. And I swear almost every single breakout that I watched, somebody in there said, I don't care if I fail, as long as I fail forward and I use it as a stepping stone and I use it as a learning tool and a building block to do something better. And that was one of the things that I took away, because every single chunk of notes that I wrote down literally has the words fail forward in it, because I heard it so much.
Yeah. Another thing that I really liked was put yourself in the place of most potential. And that's really where I'm going to be focusing for the next little bit. I get tons of, I have tons of friends who do direct sales and stuff like that. And I keep getting these invites to these big like shopping parties and stuff like that. So I went to a couple to see what they were about and what they were like. And so I'm now working on putting together a team so that we can do one. So it's like shopping from home. You get like, it's a 5-day thing. So you get, to specialize and to post all the different stuff that I would like in a Facebook party or whatever. And you get to explain yourself, who you are, what your story is, over like a 5-day period. And that way you can take special time to introduce different products and whatever. So I really like how they've been going. And that way it's more than just one of us, it's all of us kind of coming together, putting ourselves, in a place where we have the most potential to get in front of people and to build our groups. so we're working together instead of working separately, like work harder, not smarter, or smarter, not harder. Yeah, you know it, Stacia.
I sure do. I can't remember her name, but she was on the second day, and she was it was some like Courtney.
Yeah,
was it?
yeah,
Okay.
Courtney.
Oh, that girl had me in tears, let me tell you. And I'm like, look at this woman. She's like she's had so much in her life happen, but yet she still keeps a smile on her face. And I'm just like looking like at my life, I can make excuse after excuse for why I don't do this with my business or why I don't do that. But at the end of the day, it's me that has to do it, that has to, put the effort in. Like, and you can overcome any obstacle. You just have to have a positive mind frame. So That's kind of what I took away, was keep a positive mind frame and don't focus on the negative.
Well, and celebrate the little victories. Celebrate every little victory. Because even if you were too busy today to work your business, there's still something that you were victorious at. There's still some focus. And just to remember that you're superwoman, but not superhuman. So you can only handle so much. So congratulate yourself for all the things that you handled today, and then focus on putting a plan in place the next day to get back onto the track that you feel you need to be traveling on.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I feel like obviously when we get together and things like this, or when we're in the team page and stuff, the majority of the stuff that we talk about is Scentsy, because that's what we all have in common and that's what we all do together. But I do feel like it's super important there are days where you need to unplug. There are days where you have other priorities and things that are going to come first. And it's okay. I don't work my business 24/7. I promise I don't. And it's okay if, I know there's times where people will text me and they'll be like, I'm not going to be able to come on the meeting, or I'm not going to be able to do this because XYZ. I'm like, that's okay. Like, if there is a legitimate reason you can't be here, that is okay, because your life, Scensy's a part of your life, but it's not your life. And so there are going to be times where you can't make it, and there's going to be times where something else is more important, and that's okay. And like you said, sometimes, like I just posted it the other day because I had a really bad day, and literally I made it from the time I got up till the time I went to bed, and that was all that mattered, because it was a rough day. And it's okay if you don't get $100 in sales one day. It's okay if you have to move Scentsy aside to get something else done one day, because we all have more in our lives than just Scentsy. And that's what makes this business so great, is that it's okay if you do something else, because it's not going to go anywhere. Now, you can't leave it there for, an extended period of time, obviously, but I love it when people come into the team page and say and talk about other things that they accomplished that might not be 100% Scentsy related, because yes, that's the one like common denominator that we all have in common, but you'd be amazed at how many other things that we all have in common when we start talking about other things. And it's super easy to just get, tunnel vision and be like, okay, everything I need to post about in here is Scentsy. And I don't feel that way. Obviously we want to keep it semi-Scentsy heavy, because that's what we're there for. But I believe in celebrating everything too. Just like you said, celebrate every single thing that you do, whether it's a big win or a little win, or you made it through the day, or your kid slept through the night, or whatever it is. There's a lot of stuff that is out there to celebrate. And I would rather see us focus on even the smallest wins than to dwell on the things that maybe don't go our way. Like I said, I had a crap day the other day, and I was like, thank God I made it. Like, I just made it. I don't remember what I got done that day, but I made it, and I got, was able to go to bed at night and get up the next day. And that was all that really mattered. But I think, like you said, celebrate everything. Like, it's not about being the best at anything. It's about being better than you were before and working at something and improving yourself. Like he said, don't prove yourself, improve yourself. And then the other thing that I wrote down, well, one of many, But the one thing that that stuck in my head was, I'm wondering now, this might have been in leadership. But I'll talk about it anyway. So Carla Hunter, Josh, do you remember if Carla Hunter was was it leadership? Okay, so it was one of the leadership ones, but I'm going to talk about it anyways because it's important. And these things will probably end up somewhere anyways, so you guys will probably be able to watch them at some point. But she taught, and actually you could probably Google it. She talked about imposter syndrome. And so I've been kind of looking a little bit at this because I really don't know anybody who doesn't suffer from this imposter syndrome. And it says it's the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved from one's work, also known as comparison syndrome. So it's very easy for you to focus on all of the things that you don't do well and that you're not good at and that you don't excel at and that you don't see success in, instead of focusing on how you can make the things that you are good at and that you do see success in, how you can make those work for you. And I think talking to a lot of people over the last week, I think she spoke directly to a lot of people when she talked about this. She said, you know, I'm not a good public speaker. I don't have a really big vocabulary. I'm not this, that, and the other thing. And I can come up with a whole gosh darn list of things that I'm not good at. And it's very easy to focus on those and be like, well, I can't do what she does because I'm not creative. I don't come up, 90% of the things that I share with you guys, I didn't come up with that stuff. Probably not closer to 95%. I didn't come up with those things. Those are things that other consultants are sharing. I'm not super creative. I'm not super artistic, but I'm good in other areas. And so I can share those things with people who maybe aren't as good in those areas. But the cool thing about this community that we're a part of is that we do share all of these things. So all of the amazing creative people share their creative ideas with those of us that aren't creative. And so I can take the things that I'm good at and focus on those and help other people in the areas that maybe they're not so good at. I mean, Kate and Tara are like my graphics queens because, Lord, I can't make graphics. So thank goodness for you guys, because otherwise our cover thing would just be ugly. You know, it's like, it's very, like I said, it's very easy to focus and dwell on the things that you're not good at and just say, well, I can't do it because I'm not this, that, and the other thing, instead of figuring out how to use what you are good at and what qualities you do have, because we all have them, but I don't even think we know that we have them because we spend so much time thinking about the stuff we're not. And it's very hard. It all comes back to mindset. It's very hard to get yourself out of that. I can't, I don't, I won't, whatever. And just really, like, one baby step at a time, figure out what you can do to help other people in those areas that they're not good at, because everybody has something to share and everybody has something of value that they can contribute in Scentsy and in life. And then she said, the fears that you have, lots of other people feel those fears too. So she said, like, you know, when she went to her first reunion, or when you go to your first reunion or your first event and you're like, do I belong here? I don't feel like I belong here. She says probably 70% of the people in the room are having that same exact thought at the same exact time, because everybody is focusing on their own insecurities. And so you have to push past those. And it's just like we've said before, you can't let the fear of whatever it is stop you from doing something, because you will be dead in your tracks, whatever it is, whether it's Scentsy, whether it's something else in life, whether you're trying to, you know, whatever. You can't let the fear stop you. You have to be able to push through it. And it's hard and it doesn't feel good, but usually afterwards it feels pretty good, you know. But I've been kind of looking into that a little bit, because I know as soon as she started speaking and she was like, well, I don't remember what she said. She's, you know, I'm not a good public speaker. And she's a superstar director, so she talks to her team. She talks to a lot of teams. She talks to a lot of people. And so I'm sure that it's very hard for her and very probably nerve-wracking for her to do that, because it's something that she isn't super confident in. But guess what? she does it. And she provided a heck of a lot of value to those of us who watched her. And we were able to connect with her because I think a lot of us saw that that's kind of what we were feeling too. So, like I said, I've been kind of looking into it a little bit to learn a little bit more about it. So if you have never heard of it, maybe just check it out, Google, or I'm sure there's videos on Google talking about it or whatever. But I thought that was definitely something that I took away too.
And one thing that I've been working on, I'm not quite sure where I heard them talk about it, but it was awkward for me to start doing at first on my VIP page. My VIP page I treat like a conversation lounge. So instead of just sharing products with people and doing whatever, I also share my little victories and my failures and all of that stuff. Like if I'm having a bad day and I forget to post or whatever, I make sure to go in there and share that because I'm human. I'm not perfectly polished graphics. I'm not, whatever. I'm human. So having people see me as human makes me more relatable as an expert or, whatever in Scentsy or in photography or whatever. So I think it's really important to open up about that kind of stuff and share more about your life as opposed to just like Scentsy this and whatever. And it's something that I struggle with because like almost every person that I follow and that I'm friends with and whatever has kids in their life, and Scott and I do not. So we have 100 million nieces and nephews everywhere that we've adopted into our lives, but we don't have kids. So when you're talking about a messy house or, whatever, I don't have kids to show that off. And my dogs are less than cooperative, I must say. Mini dachshunds have a mind of their own. So it was a struggle for me at first to figure out how to share stuff and like create a connection because I'm not a working mom. I'm not, a busy mom. I'm not, but I'm a busy human and I do take care of this household and whatever. So it's something that I've been struggling with, but I'm finally getting to be more open about the stuff that's in my life because it's in other people's lives too, even though that's not something that I share with everyone. And it makes me feel more human that people know that, hey, I overslept, I had a headache, I, went to make a dish and it completely exploded on me and we ended up having hot dogs for dinner and stuff like that. Because I feel like it makes me more human and more relatable in life. And that's what people are investing in. When they think about, when you think about, oh, I need new towels or I need a new comforter, a lot of people think, Target or whatever. So I want people to think of me for Scentsy, but also because I'm human and we have stuff in common. And that way I find that we can talk about more stuff. So I'm not just like, hey, Scentsy's having a sale, but like, hey, oh my God, that was the cutest picture of your little girl. And, I remember when my nephew was little and he had a crazy blowout when I was holding him and whatever. So it's been letting me build more of a relationship with my VIPers, showing my life and my not only successes but also my failures and whatever.
I love that you just shared that because that's something that, and just hopping back to like touching on the imposter syndrome that Kim brought up, that's actually one of the things that I was going to talk about as my takeaway because
where'd you go?
He's mad at me because I took his takeaway, so he left.
Oh,
this is beginning to become a routine with Josh, isn't it?
Am I back?
Yes, you're back,
oh,
Josh.
there you are.
Oh my gosh, what is going on? Anyway, imposter syndrome. That is, as soon as Carla Hunter started talking, I was like, she's speaking to me. Like, every time that we're asked to do a training, or when Cincy wanted to come shoot a video about it, I was like, why? Like, we don't deserve this. Who am I? But it's just one of the other things that I wrote down, coming full circle, is you have to believe that you deserve it, and believe that you deserve better. Believe that you can do it. Because you can do anything you set your mind to. As cliche as that sounds, it's all about your mindset. 100%. And since, I mean, I've had a huge mindset makeover over the past few years, and life has just like opened up. It's crazy that how much stuff just changes when you change your perspective of things. And let's see, what else sorry, I'm just hopping in. I hope I didn't step on anyone's toes. But imposter syndrome, and also Shauna Davis, her breakout for goal getter versus being a goal setter. I mean, she took us to Cincy Church. I don't know if you've got a chance to watch it yet. If you have not, I definitely recommend it. She's the one who talks about, and I have it circled like 5 times, believe that you deserve it. And it's such a huge thing. And also making goals and action plans. This is something that I was actually going to talk to you guys about like a month ago when I had my big technology issue. So again, I'm sorry about that. I never got to actually hop on that call. But anyway, it is setting scary goals. So Shauna briefly touched on it, and I think so many of us set goals that we know we can achieve. We don't want to reach too far because we want to be able to achieve the goals and check the box, like, okay, this month I did it. But what is that doing to our businesses? Laura had this conversation with us probably like 2 months ago, somewhere in there. And it's about setting scary goals. And I think the more that you set those scary goals, the more you're gonna continue to reach farther than you ever have before, especially coming off. I mean, we all have notes probably that we can go over for days and days of notes from SFR, like SFR hangover, right? And you have more ammo right now than you ever have before. So if you set those scary goals and keep reaching, just keep reaching, you'll get there. Promise you will get there. But that's all. Mine's kind of scattered right now. But,
Hey, Josh, I have to say to that.
What's that?
Because it goes back to that time that you asked me to speak for the very first time. And I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. And my mindset when you asked me that was, why is he coming to me? Like, my sales suck right now. And, I'm like not doing very well. So why? But I had to change that mindset. It was like, well, it's not about that. It's about what I'm thinking or what I plan on doing, or, however. I can't look at it in the negative. And I so totally took away from that, from SFR. Like, as you know, I've already showed you, like, I was so excited. I booked my room for next year already.
Yes.
I'm so excited for SFR next year. Like, it's going to be a whole family thing. Because I know what I'm going to get out of it, and the whole family atmosphere and the heartfelt and emotion. Because I'm not going to lie, and every one that I watched, I cried like a big baby with my headphones in. My husband's like, what's wrong? What are you doing? I'm like, I'll show you later, so. Yeah, I mean, what you totally just reached on was how I felt that night. You're like, hey, would you do this? And I'm like, but why? But now I'm like, it ain't about the why. It's think about the positive side of it. And
Laura,
don't even be scared about it. Hi, Brandon.
hi. So you actually set me up for the perfect segue, whether you know it or not. But what I wanted to share my takeaway from SFR this year, and I think anyone who's attended to an in-person SFR could attest that. I think it was Maya Angelou who said, you'll never remember, or you won't always remember what some what someone said to you, but you'll always remember how someone made you feel. And the feels is what I wanted to talk about, because yes, this was our first virtual SFR. And I know for a lot of you, it was your first FSR period. But as the feels go, like if you cried, it's like you were already at a real SFR, because we all cry at SFR. So that's so cool to hear that you got those feels through that virtual SFR. Since he did such a great job in still making us feel that. And I promise you, if you thought that was great and you never want to miss one, once you are able to attend one in person, it just hits your core that much stronger. And like, just, I don't know, it's the best feeling in the world. So we did a great job of nailing those feels through our virtual SFR. But I promise you, you'll get all that and more once we get to be together in person again too. So I love the feels.
That's what I told my husband that night. I said, if the in-person SFR is anything, just half of what the virtual one was, like, oh my gosh, it's going to be amazing. And I cannot wait. Like, and I have that anxiety that, like Kim was talking about, like everybody in the room, I don't belong here. I shouldn't be here. I have that. So I have a whole year to get over that and try to get ready, because I know it's going to be powerful.
Yeah, you're going to love it. So hang in there, keep working toward it, and we will all have such a blast together.
Definitely.
Anybody else? No.
I have one tip.
Yeah.
So every I have an iPhone, but every kind of phone has some sort of text replacement. And so this was one of those things it's really simple. So whenever someone asks for my PWS, I always give it to them, or I hand them a business card or something like that. Well, I saved my PWS as a text replacement. So instead of having to type it all out every time, I just type in SPWS and hit the space bar, and it automatically populates that field in my text message and all across my phone. So in Messenger and everything. So especially since I have 2 different websites that I have to keep track of, it was always kind of like, which one is what? So that's just one of those things that makes it that much easier and that much faster to share information with someone. You don't have to go looking for it. You don't have to worry about internet connection. You don't have to do any of that. You can get the information to them faster with that. And you can Google it, and it'll tell you how to work it if you have an Android or whatever. If you need help and have an iPhone, I can help you with that. But it's just one of those little things that is easy to do and helps your customers feel like, you're taking care of them, always supplying them with your PWS, that like, oh, I sent it to you a couple days ago or whatever, like, oh, I have it right here, and whatever. So that was a tip that I'm not sure where I learned it from. It's been a big month of learning, but I thought that was something easy that I could share.
And I actually love that you shared that, because I do that, and I never think to share that. I don't know. It's something that I've done for years, but it's just become part of like everyday life. And I never think to like share stuff like that. But you can also, I have, anytime I do like a join post on Instagram or anything like that, I have a set of hashtags that are saved. So if I type in like JHT, that's my join hashtags. And so like 20 hashtags come up. It's made stuff so much easier. So I'm glad you shared that.
That's so smart. I've seen it done with websites before. I don't know why I didn't think to do it with hashtags, because I have hashtags saved in my notes, but I still have to go in there and grab them and copy them and paste them. Jeez.
Yeah.
Same thing. So yeah, the hashtags are brilliant.
Now.
Right? Game changer.
I just had one more thing that it kind of just came to my mind when Josh was talking about Shauna's talking about how you have to tell yourself that you deserve it, and you have to believe that you deserve it. And I think that a lot of us, especially when you first start, and you're apprehensive, and you get a lot of the haters and the skeptics and all of that stuff from people because it is a direct sales business. I think that comes into play too, that you have to realize and believe that direct sales is a real business. Like, it's not a get rich quick scheme. It's not a pyramid scheme. It's not a whatever. It's real. Like, people are making real money, paying bills, going on vacations. Like, it's a real business, and there will be haters out there until the end of time, and you just have to deal with them. But you have to know that this business is like any other business that you would start, and your business deserves to be successful, whether it's direct sales, whether it's a boutique, whether it's an ice cream shop, whether it's whatever. It's your business, and you deserve to have success. And I think that there's a lot of people out there that feel like, well, it's just direct sales. It's just this. It's just that. You guys, there's people out there making millions of dollars. And it's not just because they're sitting at the top letting their team do all the work. Scentsy is different in a lot of ways, but regardless of all of that, the fact is that your business is a business, and you deserve to have success just like you would if you had an ice cream shop or a hair salon or whatever. And I think that sometimes people get it in their head that because it's direct sales, it's not meant to make it big. It's meant to be, you get in, you make a little bit of money, you spend more money, and then you get out.
It's so funny you bring that up, Kim, because I just had this happen to me this weekend by my own mother. I promoted to lead, so excited. I'm so proud of myself. Like, I've got a kid, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I was just proud of myself. I mean, those who were there with me saw how excited I got and giddy. But I was telling her, and she looked at me, she goes, so what level of the pyramid is that on? I'm like, are you kidding me? Okay, my husband thinks it's a pyramid scheme, but he'll never tell me that because he's proud that I'm like doing something. You know, I'm not doing something, but I found something that I enjoy. But like, I had to step back and be like, okay, there are people out here in this world that are gonna, you know, degrade you and make you feel like you're worthless, but, you know, or not worthless, but make you feel bad. But I was like, no, I'm not gonna let her. And I was like, I think it's like level 3, like trying to be a smart aleck about it. But I was like, yep, here's my first encounter with it.
And it's hard to know what to say because it's just one of those things where it's like, if you owned let's just say hair salon, just because that was in my head. If you owned a hair salon, would your mom be degrading your business that you own? No, she wouldn't. But there has been so much bad things,
Right.
you know, that have been historically, I guess, or in history of direct sales that have not been great. And so, I mean, we're in it, we get it, we know. But I remember from, I think last year at SFR when Melissa Gratz was doing her Shining Star thing, and she said that, you know, her parents have always asked her, like, do you think Scentsy has run its course? She had a job for like 17 years at a mortgage company, and she joined Scentsy thinking she was going to be in it for 6 months, and then she was just going to quit, and she didn't. And her parents would always ask her, like, do you think Scentsy's run its course yet? When do you think Scentsy's going to go under? Blah, blah, blah. And she got laid off from her mortgage company job that she had for 17 years. And I don't know if they closed her. I don't know what that situation was, but that's the job that she lost. And so thank goodness she had Scentsy to fall back on. But, you know, people just have this bad taste in their mouth, and and a lot of people will let that get to them. There are so many people that won't even join because they're afraid their friends are going to think that they're getting into some scam. I've had it. You've had it. We've probably all had it, right? But I've seen it a million times, especially lately, because, you know, all the Scentsy people are all posting all the goal-getter stuff, and it's like, you know what? Your opinion doesn't pay my bills. And I've had to come to terms with a lot of things over the last 2 years about not worrying about what other people think about what I'm doing with my life, because it really has no effect on them. And if they're going to choose to not be my friend or whatever because of something that I do that doesn't affect them in any way, shape, or form, then I don't need those people anyways. And it's the same thing with Scentsy. It's like, we are people running a business. And if they choose not to support it, and if they choose not to agree with it, that's totally fine. But it doesn't mean that you break down and say, oh, well, I'm not going to do it then because, you know, Susie Q doesn't think that I should be doing it.
Can we get an amen? No,
I had I had a client. I have a client who's Disney crazy, and so she's always beating me, posting stuff. Like, she posted the villain thing like the day that we learned about it. And a couple of her friends posted, she shared one of my links, and the girl commented, "It's a shame it's a MLM company. Otherwise, you know, I would buy it." And it really made me angry. And I'm like, look, I mean, do you just want to go into Target and just be a number and not, you know, have to talk to someone or whatever in order to get your product? You just kind of want to be, you know, one in a million? Or do you want someone who's going to know what you love, be able to message you as soon as it comes out, possibly beat the rush, and who wants to definitely appreciate you and show you her appreciation? So I don't give you a receipt and say, thanks, have a nice day, shop again. I send you a thank you. I, you know, gush in my thank you note, thank you so much, I appreciate your whatever. And the girl's sister has since become one of my better clients, because every time something like that comes out that I know she's gonna love, I message her first and foremost. I'm like, OMG, look at this villain warmer. She's like, oh, I need it. So I know what she likes, so I share it right away. I'm not, you know, she doesn't have to wait for it to come out in an ad in Target or whatever. And I think that's what a lot of people see is, well, you know, you're you, and it's just this and that, and it's, you know, but it's not. It's allowing me to run a business the way that I want to run my business. And what's great now, especially, is I can do it from home, and there's safety. So I don't have to worry about going into a Target. You don't have to worry about going into a Target to get something. You know, you can share a link with your friends. I can get you everything that you need. I can drop it off on your porch and social distance, or I can send it right to you. You don't have to put on real pants to get it. Like, you don't have to wear real pants. I don't have to wear real pants. It's a great thing. But it's not a scam. It's a service. There are some out there, yeah, scams, totally. But Scentsy is not one of them. Our products are amazing. They're high quality. So many of them are made here in the USA, and people don't know that. So I was proud of myself that I didn't defend I didn't defend Scentsy. I defended myself and my choice. Like, hey, I am so thankful for this MLM because it lets me run a business successfully from home during a pandemic. And I think that's huge. We sell a great product. I stand behind it. My company stands behind it. And that's a lot more than you can say about Walmart.
Yeah.
So,
and tying this back together too, from like what everyone just shared, it's right back to reunion. Don't let other people's perspective change your perspective on what you do and how you feel about yourself and how you feel about your business. Like, it really stinks, like, hearing all these stories about the people who are close to us are some of the people that give us the hardest times about our business, when you think they're going to be in your corner supporting you. And most of those people do. But, you know, when the parents aren't celebrating our victories with us, that's a real bummer, you know. But again, don't let their perspective of what's going on in your life and your business change how you feel about your life and your business. Let those haters be your motivators.
I'd like to share something that I come across with one of my friends, actually. It was, well, I can go buy a warmer at Walmart for $5. And I'm like, okay. You know, I'm not going to sit here and bash Walmart like, oh, no, their warmers are not better, you know, like yada, yada, yada. So she did. And then a week later calls me and says, the wax is burning in the Walmart warmer. And I'm like, well, because they burn a little bit hotter than, you know, and so instead of downplaying what they've got, I let them experience it for themselves. And then she ordered a warmer. So it's like, you know, you got to let it prove itself. Because like I've told everybody, Scentsy sells itself. You just, everybody I've come across, you put it in front of them and they're like, oh my God, I love it. I love it. You know, and I've already got 2 people that want to order stuff that's coming out next month. And one's on a list to order the villain warmer. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not a matter of, because at first I was like, what do you do? What do you say when they're like, oh, well, I can get this at Walmart? Well, go ahead. You know, go try. And, you know, I know they're going to be calling me in a few days to order that warmer because
you can always lend them your warmer too if you have one.
Oh, yeah. Done that. I've got a borrow basket actually with one in it. And that led to a sale. So.
And I can promise you they're not going to find a lifetime warranty at Walmart.
Oh, no.
So.
No, and they're also.
And those scent bars that are like this thin. My best friend loves a good deal. So she has Scentsy, but she's like, oh, well, I found this stuff and it was on sale. And I'm like, okay, cool. And she's like, is it okay to use in the warmer? I'm like, yeah, you can use whatever you want in our warmers. And so she did. And she's like, well, I had to replace it like every single day. And I'm like, mm-hmm. Yep. So is it really saving you money? Nope.
Exactly.
But, you know, she had to learn it for herself.
You gotta let people experience it for themselves. You know, there's something, I think that it's like people's pride gets in, you know, they get their pride gets in the way. And it's like, well, you're not going to tell me that your thing is better than my idea. And then when they realize that your thing is better than their idea and they come back with their tail between their legs, I was that person. I went and bought the wax from Walmart and Target and wherever, mostly because I didn't know how to get more Scentsy when I first bought it. But I went and bought the stuff. And honestly, like at the time, I thought it was fine. And then I went back to Scentsy, and that's when I realized that Scentsy was way better. But that was the thing. Like, yeah, the bars of Walmart wax are half the price, but I had to buy twice as many of them. So what's the difference, you know? But I think people just, you know, there's a lot of people out there that are just very closed-minded in terms of things, in terms of direct sales. And they're like, well, I don't care. I'm not going to buy it because it's this. I don't care if it's better. And there are some people out there, you're not going to change their mind. You're not going to change their mind. But it's, you have to get yourself in the mindset that for every one of those people, there's 5 more people over here that appreciate what you do for them and do love the products, and focus your attention on those people. And that's where you'll see growth. Don't, what do they say? Like, the people who matter don't mind, and whatever, you know, that one. Those
and the people who mind don't matter.
Mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Don't pay no mind to those people that are going to continue to trash talk. Let them trash talk over here, and just worry about your business.
Yep.
Well, I think it's really funny. I have a couple clients who have seen the Villains warmer. I shared it with them, and they're like, oh my God, that's so beautiful. I really want one. And I'm like, it is, you know, $75. And oh my gosh, it's so expensive. Does it ever go on sale? And I'm like, well, you can share it with your friends and family, and you could get it, you know, for half price or whatever, even if I had to give it to her that way myself or whatever. But I'm like, well, you have other Disney things. Have they been affordable? I mean, like Walmart affordable, or are they like sort of Target level? And I'm like, you have to price in the licensing with everything the same way that we bleed maize and blue over here. Michigan t-shirts, Michigan sweatshirts, we love them. They're $45-50 all the time because licensing. So it's one of those things. Plus, your other stuff from Disney isn't going to come with a lifetime warranty. So
Well, and Disney overall, I mean, whatever you think something should cost, if it's got Disney branding on it, just mark it up 300%. And anybody who's a Disney collector knows that. I've already had people message me and have asked me about how much is the Villains warmer, and I said 75, and they're like, "Oh, cool," because they know that Disney collectible items like that are not cheap. Yes, you're gonna have people that are like have the sticker shock, but people who are true Disney collectors, they're not gonna bat an eye at $75. There is stuff in those shops on Main Street that's thousands of dollars, and people are buying it. So $75 is not a big deal.
Well, and the most important part is especially like, I got Scott the Millennium Falcon warmer because we're Star Wars nerds in this house. And it's beautiful everywhere. The front, the side, the back, they're really, I mean, other than the cord sticking out, you wouldn't really know it's the back. Same thing with the Spider-Man warmer, same thing with the Captain America warmer and this villain warmer. With the 3 different stories, I mean, our creative team, one day I need to meet them because they are my people. I love how they do all of that stuff and they think in 3 dimensions and everything. We have a pass through in our house. And so I'm particular about what warmers sit there because I want something that's, you know, more 3-dimensional and whatever. So I love that the Villains warmer can sit there for Halloween and be Ursula on one side and the Evil Queen on the other and just be so cool.
That's what I like about the Disney warmers, because it's not just a warmer, it's a story. There is something behind it, and anybody that is a Disney fan knows, oh my gosh, you know, that I remember this scene in the movie, or, you know, whatever it may be. It's not just a warmer, it's not just a object.
And you can't buy it at Target or Walmart.
Exactly.
Well, right. And it's a story in itself. Like, it captures the character, it captures everything. Like the Iron Man warmer, it might just look like a helmet to people who aren't a Marvel fan, but it's got the chest piece in the dish and the eyes light up, which is like, it's just, it gives you chills when you look at it because it totally encapsulates what that's about. Like the Darth Vader warmer was my first experience with the licensed warmer. And our really good friend Jason has it in his nerd lair that's full of Star Wars and everything, but it's for a true fan. I mean, it tells the whole story of his character. It's not just like, oh look, we put Darth Vader's face on it and it's totally fine. It's not. It captures that whole story of that character, and that's what I love about these things that they come out with. They're not just like, oh, we put Jack Skellington on it and it's fine. Even the finest, smallest details capture that whole story for you. Mm-hmm. And they sell themselves because they're perfection. And I love that.
Agreed. I think we have a pretty amazing design team. Totally. Like, I mean, Disney and otherwise, like, there's so many things that we come out with that I'm just like, oh my God, like, love, you know. All right. Anybody else have any aha moments from SFR that they want to share? Speak now or
more of a question.
Yep.
So when at the first part, when the group 1 session started, all the kids were coming up trick-or-treating. Were those all possible hints? Because I think there was a Mike and Sully in a group too.
I guarantee you they were hints. I mean, I shouldn't guarantee because I don't know anything, but that's how Scentsy runs. There's hints everywhere. So I would not be surprised if we saw some more of those things that we saw, costumes, maybe decor, whatever, at some point down the road.
I did have something completely off topic because I just had a customer message me. How do you get wax off of the Jack Skellington warmer? Because it's ceramic.
Very carefully. I would say hot hair dryer and paper towel.
Paper towel or a paper bag.
Yeah.
Super absorbent.
It's probably red wax too, isn't it? It's always red. It's always red.
It's always red.
I was
that doesn't work
at my house, Kate. Like I have to move the dish from my salt lamp warmer into the other room when I change the wax because I know if I get wax on it, it's done.
Yep.
Same. Yes.
and if that doesn't get rid of
I
it,
include a little hint when someone orders a warmer like that, like especially when I had people order the salt lamp warmer. Please do not change your wax with the dish on the warmer. You know, turn it off, let it cool a little bit, pick up the dish very carefully, move it away, and then use a cotton cleanup or, you know, one of my spatulas or whatever. But it's way harder to be more cautious than it is to undo.
What were you going to say, Brandon?
if that doesn't work as well, then you can just let them know they can buy a new one with the mini warmer as well, starting September 1st. So
I like that.
build that sale.
And then that could just be the kids' warmer. It could sit in the kids' room. Kids don't care.
Right. All right. Yes, Easter eggs. Tara said, I was trying to think of the word, like, and I've been hearing it a lot lately, the Easter eggs in all of the hints and everything. I love it. All right, you guys. If nobody else has anything else to share, we will adjourn our meeting. But as you guys are going through and watching breakouts and expos and things like that on your own time, they're available for 30 days, I believe. And then at some point, they're moving it all into the training session. So even, I don't know if it's going to happen right away or if it'll be down the road. But, and I don't know if they said that, maybe they did, but I know it's all going to be in the training center at some point. So don't feel like you absolutely have to watch everything right away. You know what I mean? There is a lot out there. It can be overwhelming. Pick and choose, and then, you know, do it at your own pace. But as you're going through and watching some of them, if you have light bulb moments, if you have things that speak to you, share them. Like, share them with your team, share them with your director, share them with your people, like your family, your friends, because a lot of the stuff that is resonating with us isn't just applicable to Scentsy, it's applicable to life. And so a lot of, like when Josh said, when DeWitt Jones spoke to them in Las Vegas, like, what does he have to do with Scentsy? Most of the time when we get speakers at reunion, I'm like, what is this person going to teach me? Right. And they always do. And so whether it, you know, Mel Robbins or Colin O'Brady or James Clear or whoever it is, like, they all can speak to people in a different way. And so share it with your non-Scentsy people too, because that might trigger something in someone else as well. But I would love to hear anybody's ahas as you go through and watch your stuff on your own time. And that's all I've got.
I want to add one more thing in here. Today I got our SFR survey. So check your email. If you received the survey just saying, how do we do for SFR this year? Please complete it, because they listen big time for everything, but especially about this.
They really do. They really do, you guys. I mean, there have been things that we've seen that, I mean, I know I've seen in recent SFRs that I know people, I had heard chatter about at previous SFRs. And when you see something and you know that, I mean, we see it all the time, but there have been like specific things that we've said, that people have said, I would love to see this. And then it happens. And so you know that they really do sit down and read those surveys. And so especially the comment section, I did mine today. That comment section at the bottom, just go for it. Tell them everything that you love. Tell them the things that you didn't love, because they want to know that too. But yeah, those surveys are super important, and they really do listen to what we have to say.
Kim, I agree with what Sarah just said. To always have a virtual option for people that may, you know, be too far and can't make it. Luckily this year is close to home for us, so we will be able to go. But I think that would be a good option. You know, and people that have physical disabilities too, that, you know, can't fly or drive that far, that would be a good place to start.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Make sure you put that, everything like that in that survey, because they definitely are reading this.
I added that in mine, and I'm one of the people that's like, I will always go unless there's a legitimate reason I cannot go, but I will always make every effort that I can to go. But I think a virtual option, you know, to some capacity would be great, because there literally are people that can't make it for whatever reason. And I think that, you know, it's one thing to say, oh, it's the benefit of going is you get all of this stuff, but the other people deserve that stuff too. And a lot of breakouts get recorded and all of that stuff. And I think, I mean, personally, and maybe I'm a jerk, but I do think that there should be some things reserved for people that are there, because it's a commitment that you're making to go. But, you know, it's just like when you say you don't get the take home if you aren't there. That might be something, you know, it's like maybe you don't get whatever the freebies are if you do virtual, but you still get the training and you still get the, you know, all of that other stuff too. So it's not an all or nothing. But,
and I feel like the training is where the value is at. Like,
yeah.
I had no idea what to expect, and I'm just completely blown away by everything that I'm learning, that I'm seeing, that I'm watching. So.
And wait, Kate, until you get the hugs from all your Sensi sisters and misters too. That just, it melts your heart too. So you'll love that too.
The hugs
I
are
missed
important.
those this year.
Yes, me too, Jamie. But we'll make up for it next year. So, and guys, remember too, one thing I wanted to add, when you're doing those surveys, keeping in that good Sensi spirit, remember that if, let's say there's something that you didn't like, just make sure you stay professional when you write that, because Sensi goes so far above and beyond to make sure they take all of our feelings into consideration. So if there's something you didn't like or just really felt bad about, make sure you phrase that appropriately too, because a lot of people work really hard to make all this happen for us and to get stuff out of this behind the scenes. So I just want to make sure we're being professional back to them. We don't have to like everything, but we should be responsible and adult enough to phrase it in a professional term, I guess.
Be
So,
respectful.
That's the word.
Explain it like you would want it explained to you on your presentation.
Yes. Great job.
It's important.
Yep. All right, you guys, all hearts and minds clear?
Definitely.
All right, you guys,
Yes.
thanks for hopping on and spending a little bit of time with us. We will talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.